Germany has over 1,300 registered varieties of bread, not types of food. Bread specifically, 1,300 varieties. There is a German Institute for Bread Culture. That is a real institution. It exists. Germany takes bread so seriously that UNESCO added German bread culture to its list of intangible cultural heritage. And then Germans came to America for the World Cup, and one of them called Taco Bell the Holy Land. Not sarcastically, not as a joke, with complete sincerity. A person from the country with 1,300 types of bread stood in front of a Taco Bell near Atlanta and described it as the Holy Land. That one moment tells you everything you need to know about what happened when Germany met America this summer. And it is just the beginning. Because the differences that Germans revealed about these two countries during this World Cup go so much deeper than fast food. They go all the way down to how two nations understand money, freedom, time, strangers, and what a good life is actually supposed to feel like. This video covers all of it. And if you are American, you are going to want to stay for every single one. Before we get into it, subscribe right now. This channel finds the stories inside the story, the ones that the sports desks and the highlight reels walk straight past. You do not want to miss what is coming next. To understand what Germans revealed about the differences between these two countries, you first need to understand one word: Ordnung. It is a German word that does not translate cleanly into English. It means order, structure, the correct way for things to be arranged. But it is not just a concept in Germany. It is a value, a cultural operating system, a deeply held belief that the world functions best when everything and everyone is in its proper place, following its proper rules, at exactly the proper time. Germany runs on Ordnung. Its trains run on it. Its recycling system runs on it. Its workplace culture runs on it. Its relationship with pedestrian crossings, where standing on a corner and crossing with no cars in sight while the light is still red will earn you a genuine, sincere, fully committed glare from a stranger, runs entirely on it. Germans who came to America for the World Cup this summer brought Ordnung with them in their carry-on luggage. And America, being America, had absolutely no idea what to do with it. What followed was one of the most entertaining, most revealing, and most genuinely moving cultural collisions of the entire tournament. And the differences that came out of it say something important, not just about Germany and America, but about two completely different answers to the question of how human beings are supposed to live. Start with the most obvious one, because it is obvious for a reason. In Germany, food is serious. Dinner is not a meal. It is an event. It is not uncommon for a German dinner to last 3 hours, with deliberate pauses between courses and another hour of conversation after the dessert plates have been cleared. Restaurants close. There are hours. There are rules about when eating happens and how long it takes, and what the appropriate setting for it is. In America, there is a Waffle House. It is open right now. It was open an hour ago. It will be open at 4 in the morning. It will be open on Christmas. It has never closed. It does not know what closing is. It is serving eggs and waffles to someone at this exact moment, and it will be doing the same thing in 6 hours, and nobody involved considers this remarkable in any way. Germans visiting for the World Cup discovered Waffle House, and the reaction was immediate. One German fan documented his 1 a.m. visit and wrote, "Great food, great prices, and friendly staff. October 10th, we will be coming back. At 1 in the morning, after a full day of traveling through a foreign country, sitting in a fluorescent-lit diner eating eggs." And the review was 10 out of 10. Then came Raising Cane's, a chicken finger restaurant, not a Michelin-starred establishment, a fast food chain. And the verdict from German visitors who encountered it for the first time was 3 words that have since been shared across the internet thousands of times. Lives were changed, not improved, not enhanced, changed, permanently, by chicken fingers. And then there was the free refill. Swedish fan Elsa Thora discovered ranch dressing at a diner in Indianapolis and immediately demanded it be exported to Europe. Why did no one tell me ranch sauce is like crack? Europe, we need ranch ASAP. In Germany, you pay for water at a restaurant. You pay for bread. You pay for everything individually and specifically, and the bill is itemized. And there are no surprises and nothing arrives at the table that you have not specifically ordered and agreed to pay for. This is Ordnung applied to dining. It is efficient. It is clear. In America, chips and salsa arrive before you have decided what you want. Ice water shows up without being asked. The glass is refilled before it is empty. And none of it appears on the bill. Because in America, the baseline assumption at the table is generosity. The starting position is abundance. And Germans who sat down at American restaurants and encountered that baseline for the first time did not experience it as a dining quirk. They experienced it as a statement about what kind of country they were sitting in. Germany is a large country by European standards. It has cities of real size and infrastructure of genuine quality and highways, the Autobahn, that are among the most famous roads in the world. And then Germans came to America, and the scale of everything reset their internal calibration. One German fan doing sightseeing was taken aback by how green Atlanta looked and said he felt like he was in a forest. Atlanta, a major American city, described as feeling like a forest by someone who did not expect American cities to have that much nature woven into them. That detail alone, the sheer surprise at greenery inside a city, says something about how different the physical experience of these two countries is from the ground level. Then came the stadiums. German fans visiting Auburn University's 88,000-seat stadium for a World Cup warm-up called it the craziest stadium they had ever seen. Germany has great stadiums. Germany hosted a World Cup. German soccer culture is serious and genuine, and the stadiums that support it are nothing to dismiss. And yet an American college football stadium, not even an NFL stadium, a college stadium, produced a reaction of pure, overwhelming disbelief from visitors who had spent their whole lives watching professional sports in Europe. And then there was Buc-ee's. Europeans traveled across the country during the World Cup and discovered what they described as a shopping center and petrol station that had crashed into a Texas barbecue joint. They came for football, stayed for the brisket, and marveled at the fact that the toilets were cleaner than most restaurants in Europe and free. In Germany, rest stop bathrooms on the Autobahn cost money. There is a coin slot. You pay to use a highway bathroom. This is Ordnung. It is maintained, it is funded, it is logical. In America, the bathrooms at Buc-ee's are free, spotless, and have been named the best public bathrooms in the country multiple times by people who apparently rank public bathrooms, which is also a very American thing to do. The Walmart moment deserves its own mention. Things many Americans barely notice anymore. Giant convenience stores, sprawling supermarkets, massive restaurant portions, country music sing-alongs, and cowboy culture can feel completely new to visitors from around the world. German visitors who walked into a Walmart supercenter and found an entire aisle dedicated to a single condiment variety, a freezer section with dedicated space for dog ice cream, and a garden center the size of a European apartment building, did not have the cultural software to process it quickly. They needed time. They took videos. They sent them home. This is the one that goes deepest. This is the difference that Germans kept coming back to when they tried to explain what America had done to their understanding of the world. In Germany, strangers are not particularly interested in each other. This is not rudeness. It is a cultural norm rooted in something real, a deep respect for personal privacy, for the boundaries between people who do not know each other, for the idea that approaching someone you have never met and involving yourself in their day is an imposition rather than a kindness. Germans build deep, lasting friendships, but they build them slowly, deliberately, and with people they have chosen carefully over time. In America, a stranger is just a friend who does not know it yet. That sounds like something you would find on a refrigerator magnet. It is also, as German visitors discovered this summer, completely accurate. One German fan heading to a stadium was about to walk an hour through the rain to save on an Uber. The receptionist at a nearby hotel, someone with no obligation to him whatsoever, someone who did not know him, someone who could have simply watched him walk out into the rain, offered to drive him there. He posted about it with a single prayer emoji and the words, "I love Americans." That is not a tourism campaign. That is not a hospitality protocol. That is an American person doing what Americans do when they see someone who could use some help. As the German fan's journey continued and his posts went viral, the American response was extraordinary. Former NFL star J.J. Watt paid for his hotel stay in Houston, a room at one of the city's premier hotels. Country singer Ella Langley, whom he had called his best discovery of the trip after listening to her music on a road trip, reached out personally and invited him to her concert. He got a private tour of NASA Mission Control with an astronaut. Now, in Germany, If a tourist went viral posting about their love of German culture, they would probably receive some positive comments and maybe a media mention. What they would not receive is a former professional athlete paying for their hotel, a famous musician personally inviting them backstage, and a space agency opening its doors for a private tour. That specific chain of events is not replicable in most places on Earth. It is the American instinct to celebrate someone who is genuinely enjoying themselves, amplified by an entire nation watching and wanting to participate. In Germany, the word for debt and the word for guilt are the same word. Schulden. Debt equals guilt. This is not a metaphor. It is the actual vocabulary. A country that takes its relationship with financial responsibility so seriously that it built it into the language itself. Germany has spent years proudly running what it calls a black zero, a balanced government budget. Citizens celebrate this. Germans save for years before buying a car or a house. Borrowing is not just financially cautious, it is morally loaded. In America, a stranger who just met you on the internet paid for your hotel room because you seemed like a good person who was having a good time. These are two different civilizations built on two different foundational assumptions about what people owe each other and what they are owed by the world. In Germany, you do not cross the street against a red light, even when there are no cars. You wait. You follow the system. Because the system exists for a reason, and following it is how you demonstrate that you are a reliable member of a functioning society. Deviation from the rule, even a harmless, consequence-free deviation, is noticed. It is judged. Someone will say something. In America, jaywalking is technically illegal in most states. It is also something that approximately 100% of Americans do on a daily basis without thinking about it. Individual judgment about immediate circumstances overrides the general rule. If there are no cars, you cross. Because you are an adult who can evaluate a street and the rules are guidelines, not commandments. Neither approach is purely right or purely wrong, but they produce two very different experiences of daily life. One is ordered, predictable, and structured. The other is free, flexible, and self-directed. And Germans who spent weeks inside the American version of that experience kept reporting the same thing, that it felt different in their bodies. Lighter, more open, like something had been removed that they had been carrying so long they had stopped noticing its weight. Here is the part of this story that almost no one is talking about, and it might be the most important part. Freddie, the German fan whose viral road trip through small-town America captured the world's attention, had posted critically about America before this trip. His preconceived notions were on full display in those older posts. But he gave the country a second chance and fell in love with it. That arc, skepticism, contact, transformation, is not unique to one German fan. It is the arc of this entire World Cup for German visitors. They came in with Ordnung. They came in with structure and caution and the careful, measured German approach to forming opinions about things. And America quietly, without any plan or agenda, dismantled all of it. Not with arguments. Not with campaigns. With a hotel receptionist who drove someone to a stadium in the rain. With a 24-hour diner that charged almost nothing and made people feel completely at home at 1 a.m. With a gas station so large and clean and abundant that it required no explanation. It simply needed to be experienced. With strangers who acted like hosts without being asked to. With a country whose default setting, underneath all its noise, is still, and has always been, welcome. These visitors aren't amazed by free refills. They're amazed by what free refills represent. They're seeing, for the first time and with fresh eyes, the product of 250 years of freedom, capitalism, hard work, and the most audacious political experiment in human history. Germany is a great country. Its bread alone proves that. But what Germans found in America this summer was something their own culture, for all its excellence, all its precision, all its extraordinary Ordnung, is not optimized to produce. The specific, unrepeatable feeling of a place that was built on the premise that anyone can show up and be given a chance. That the glass can be refilled. That the door will be held. That a stranger is just someone you haven't met the reason to help yet. The biggest difference between Germany and America is not the portions. It is not the roads, or the stadiums, or the bathroom quality at a Texas gas station. It is the answer each country gives to a question that every civilization eventually has to answer. What do we owe each other? Germany answers that question with structure, with rules, with systems designed to ensure that everyone contributes and everyone is protected and nothing is left to chance or individual whim. It is a serious, sophisticated, genuinely impressive answer. America answers it differently. America answers it with a hotel receptionist who drives a stranger to a stadium in the rain, with a former NFL player who pays for a tourist hotel because the tourist seemed like a good person, with a diner that never closes and a store that carries everything in a country that, at its core and in its daily unremarkable texture, operates on the assumption that whoever walks through the door deserves to be made to feel at home. Germans came to America expecting one country. They found another. And the one they found made them call Taco Bell the Holy Land and say that chicken fingers changed their lives and post about a gas station bathroom like it was a national monument. Which, honestly, maybe it is. If this video made you see something in your own country that you had stopped noticing, share it. Subscribe because this channel keeps finding the stories that deserve to be told. And America right now is full of them.